Hey guys, what's going on? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the 10 things that you need to do when buying a home or condo in the Clearwater Beach or surrounding area. Now, I sell real estate along the Gulf of Mexico from Clearwater Beach down to St. Pete Beach and all of St. Petersburg, and then from Anna Maria Island down to Siesta Key. Now, and I'm going to cover why you want to start some of these things early on in the process so that they don't come back to haunt you. And we're going to get started right now. My name is John Kinnunen here, and I am with the GulfCoastIsMyHome.com, brokered by eXp Realty. And we've been selling real estate in the Clearwater Beach and surrounding areas for over 10 years now. Now, if any point during this video you have questions about the real estate market in this area, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I'm going to circle back around to them and I'm going to answer them as quickly as I can. Or for the fastest response, feel free to text me at 734-972-7388. That's my personal cell phone number, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Now let's get to it. The very first thing you want to do is you want to start your research early, and by watching this video you've already started to do that, and there's tons of other videos on this channel that you can go back to and you can watch about the various different areas. If there's a specific condo complex or neighborhood or an area that you're thinking about going to or moving to and you don't see a video on it, feel free to put that in the comment section below that, hey, I'd like to see a video on this area, and I can either go there and send you a personalized video of this area and the different things that you're interested in, the school systems, the shops, the things like that, or I can do a video and I can get it out there, put it on YouTube so it helps other people just like yourself. So just like in school where there's no such thing as a dumb question, that's exactly how it is right here on this station, where there is no such thing as asking me to do a video on a dumb thing, because somebody else out there might have that same problem or want to know about that area as well. So you're helping not only yourself, but you're helping other people as well. Number two is you're going to want to get in contact with me. Go ahead, schedule either reach out to me by a phone call or by a text message or by an email, but somehow get a hold of me. I love getting these emails and text messages all the time. Sometimes I get a phone call to say, I just watched your video, I'm thinking about moving to the area. What do I need to do next? And what we'll do is we'll set up either a Zoom call, or if I got time and you have time, we can just start right then and there and just get on the phone, or we can schedule a phone call to where everybody that's going to be involved in making this decision is there, so that not only you can get to know me, but I can get to know why you are wanting to move to the area, and I can help you weed out certain areas. If say you're thinking about buying an investment condo and you want to be able to rent it by the day or by the week, which a lot of people want to do that, but those buildings they tend to have a high turnover rate and they're harder to get financing on. Banks don't like loaning on those buildings as much because there's such a high turnover rate. There's people in and out, and some people just don't like to purchase those kinds of buildings because those buildings get beat up a little more than say a building that has maybe a 3 to 6 month minimum lease rental on it. Now, I do a whole video about investment condos and things you need to watch out for, so feel free to I'll put it down in the description of this video actually, and feel free to watch that next. So one of the things we're going to do during this Zoom call or phone call, whatever it is, or maybe it's a series of emails or back and forth, however we're communicating and we decide to set this up, one thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a customized search just for you that kind of meets your criteria, so that you can start seeing what's on the market. Even if, say, you're not interested in doing something for another 3 to 6 months, it's good to start early, just like my number one point that I made at the beginning of this video. You want to start early with this so you can start learning the market, start seeing what areas you might like to be in or not like to be in. And all that is going to come from that very first Zoom call or phone call, however we do it. That way you get to know me and I get to know you. Oh, and before I forget, if you want to receive our relocation guide to Clearwater Beach in the surrounding area, feel free to put a comment in the comment section that says, hey, send me that guide, and I'll leave a link down below to it. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you like content like this and you want to learn more about the area and you were thinking about moving or purchasing a second home in the area. I'd love to stay connected with you and help you in any way that I can. Now, the fourth step that we're going to talk about is your financing, because we want to make sure that we have your financing in place before we start going out and looking at things, because there's nothing worse than falling in love with a place and then realizing you can't get it. So we're going to discuss some things. We'll have some hard conversations about your financing. Maybe you're a cash buyer, maybe you're you're going to do a mortgage, but I'm going to point you in the direction of a couple local lenders. You don't have to use them by any means, but a lot of times, I'm just going to tell you this up front, a lot of times other real estate agents and homeowners don't like to accept offers when it's an out-of-state bank, because so many deals fall apart when it's an out-of-state bank. And they just don't stay on top of things like an in-state bank does, and somebody that I'm used to working with, because I have a direct contact with them and they're used to working with me and I'm used to working with them. You wouldn't believe how many times people use out-of-state banks and the bank just drags and drags their feet, and you have to stay on them about this. Rules are just different down here sometimes than what you might be used to in the area that you live in now, and especially when it comes to home inspections, which we'll get to that towards the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. So the fifth thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up a tour date. Now, once you start getting a little bit closer, we'll start coordinating a little bit more here and there, and we're going to set up a actual tour date where you and I are going to go out and look at homes. Now, this might be some people do this virtually, especially if they live up in Canada, or they live in France or Italy or some other place. You'd be surprised, actually. People do buy these things sight unseen. And when I mean sight unseen, yes, that does happen, but sometimes what I mean by that is people will just see it through like a video. And they'll sit there, we'll take them around, we'll make sure, if they want to see this view or that view, whatever it is, wherever, we'll just take our camera that way. That happens all the time. Or we can do an in-person. You and I actually go out and look at these homes together, or condos. Now, maybe you have your own car here, or maybe you need a ride. But whatever it is, we'll get together and we'll set this date up. It gets exciting then, because then that brings us to our sixth step. Our sixth step is actually putting in the offer on the home and working through multiple bid strategies, which I'm very familiar with, especially in this market, and I can tell you exactly what to do, what not to do, and how to win that home if you really do want that home. A lot of times what I like to ask my clients is, hey, if you didn't get this home, could you sleep at night? Would you be okay sleeping at night? Would you fall right asleep tonight knowing that you didn't get this home? Or do you really, really want it? And if they say, no, we wouldn't be able to sleep, well, then we know we need to go after this condo or home a little bit more aggressively than you'd say, well, maybe I could fall asleep, no big deal. So then, well, maybe this isn't, well, number one, the house for you, and number two, we're not going to go after it maybe as aggressively as if, the other situation where you wouldn't be able to sleep. So the seventh step in this process, once we've gotten this home and we've got it under contract, we won, is the home inspection or condo inspection. Now, this is a very important step. When you're dealing with a condo, there's a lot less for the homeowner, the home inspector to inspect, because basically the structure is taken care of by the HOA, the roof and all that kind of stuff. But it's good to know, they still need to go up on the roof and check it out and look at your AC, your HVAC system, the appliances, make sure everything else is working. But there are maybe a couple things that you might not be used to in your own state where you live now. One of the tests that we do down here, if it's an older home, might be a drywall test, because at a certain point we were getting bad drywall. And so we have to do that test just to make you aware that, hey, maybe this is that kind of drywall. Maybe, at that point, maybe you want to back out of the deal, or you buy it because, well, it's no big deal and it's been held up this long, or whatever the situation is. at least you're aware of it. Also, the termite, you might not have termites up where you live, but we do a pest inspection to make sure the structure is good, make sure there's no termites inside the home or condo. And then there is the 3-point home inspection, where these are only if it is an older home built after a certain period of time. I believe it is 20 years. And you need to have a 3-point inspection just to get the home or condo insured. But those are things that I am all used to working through, and those are things that I'm going to handle for you, especially if you're out of state. You might not even be there for those, but I'm going to make sure that that all goes smoothly. I'm going to get you that information as quickly as possible. We're going to then go over that kind of the home inspection or condo inspection, and then we're going to make a decision on, do we want to proceed with this transaction? Do we want to ask for some repairs? Do we want to ask for some money off, or is everything okay? You can live with it, and we just go ahead with the transaction. If we're going to go ahead and go with the transaction, then that brings me to step 8, where I'm going to be working very closely with the mortgage lender at this point. And at this point, this is where it's really good to have somebody that I'm used to working with and have good communication with, because I need to make sure that certain things are being hit by a certain time, making sure that maybe we don't close for 3 months, but you still need to have the loan be approved by 20 days or 25 days, whatever we set in that contract, to make sure that, hey, this person isn't just going to keep this home out or condo off the market for this period amount of time, and then at the end we're just going to say, oh, you didn't get approved for the mortgage. At least we need to have that in place up front. Yes, the loan is approved, and yes, we're still not going to close until XYZ date. But those are all things that I'm very used to working with. We're gonna order the appraisal, which is number 9. The 9th step, is ordering that appraisal. And we wanna order that appraisal usually a little early on in the process, especially after definitely after the home inspection is complete, but we can order it before that, but just we'll have to cancel it if, say, the deal falls apart. So a lot of times the banks don't like to order it before that, but I always try to get them to, just so that we can hit our deadlines. Our deadlines are so very important, especially when we have big money on the line. With the earnest money deposit. The earnest money deposit, that's kind of like a bonus thing. I didn't cover that. We'll have to put like an earnest money deposit down. That is all set forth in the contract, the purchase contract, how much we're going to deposit, where it's going to be deposited, who's going to be holding it. And we have 7 days during the inspection period where we can cancel that and still get that EMD deposit back. And a lot of times in the contracts it's written where if the loan doesn't get approval, then we're going to need to cancel that contract, and a lot of times we can just get that earnest money deposit back then as well. So I know I'm covering a lot of information, so if you have any questions about any of this at all, please do not hesitate to ask. Put it in the comment section. If you don't feel comfortable putting it in the comment section, feel free to text it to me or email it to me or contact me on my website, thegolfcoastismyhome.com. Be happy to help you, like I said. And step number 10 is actually, this is more so for condos and any place where there's an HOA. We need to make sure the estoppel is ordered on time and that everything is going to be back in time for closing, so that we can get the closing documents together. I'm going to coordinate all that. I'm going to make sure that the final numbers are to you and make sure that you're okay with them. And then we're going to get this thing closed and we're going to hand you over the keys. Now, I hope you got some valuable information out of this video. If you did, consider